training camp, everything, just kind of having a start from the beginning here?
Yeah,
Sure.
honestly, I haven't really gotten that far yet.
Okay.
That's a ways away.
Yeah.
Looking in the future, Ben.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. It's definitely, it's more like, look at like the broader theme, right? The season ends and you kind of reflect and you look forward in terms of like the direction you want to go. I think there are a lot of steps to take.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a good group of people that are willing to do that. And I think everyone will go into the off season kind of, like you said, right now I don't think people are thinking about training camp, but eventually they will, and I think people will realize that, like, the young guys will realize, like, okay, once you're in the league for a bit, like a little, and like you just got your first 2 games in, you got some time in it, you realize, okay, now I got to do it again and again, and got to keep doing it. And like I think that's what we're going to see is people take those steps and becoming more rounded NHL players that are more full time, and realize that it's just, we're here to win. Obviously you want to entertain, but we're here to win. That's our main goal.
How much, just
No
to
worries.
bring it back to the president and everything, and just how much more comfortable you felt the last week or so here, having
Yeah.
some time and getting used to everything?
I honestly, you know what, I think coming right in and playing right away, for me, that was a big thing for me. Just, I think it almost like playing a game just gets you right into the mix of the group. Like, the guys get to know you. You get to know them. With the trainers, like, you just start going and like you learn each other. Like, what drinks do you like? When do you like things? Kind of like, what do you do with your gear? And that was the quickest way. So honestly, after the first few days, I was kind of, felt like I was pretty well integrated with everyone. And but by the end of the season, it felt like, I've been here for a lot longer than I actually was. I felt like it almost feels like I was here the whole year. But or I guess maybe it feels like it was almost like 2 seasons, like my time in Florida and my time here.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny to hear you talk about the young guys because you're a young guy, but coming from
I know,
Florida
right? Yeah.
to here, you almost immediately become almost like a leader.
Yeah, I mean, I know, I've talked to like Anton Lundell. I know he's one of my good friends. And we talked about that. We're like, yeah, like in Florida, like, I was like, we were like the younger guys, and then I come here and I feel old, but yeah, I think, I don't know. I think, in Florida, I learned a lot just from observing people, and then I just think I want to bring that here. It's not something like I think I know everything. I really don't, and I'm still learning a lot, right? And I still think there's a lot of things that I can do to take steps, and that will come with experience. But I have seen a thing or two in hockey and life that I think can be can serve the team well. And I'm not someone that's really like a super vocal leader or just gonna, say a lot. But every once in a while I will say something, and if the time's right.
Do you welcome that responsibility where you can bring a leadership type role to this group, but you're also trying to navigate being a full-time NHL goaltender, a bona fide number 1 here in Chicago yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone can be a leader, really. It's not always about being the guy that's like talking before the game, and some people are really good at that. Me personally, I try to lead by example. That was something that I've always tried to do, is just not be like, I guess you're right. Like, maybe I don't love to always be in the mix of saying things, and I think that kind of can be distracting for me. But I like to just be like, show like, hey, Spencer's out there early. Spencer's taking care of himself, with his body. Like, he's working out, doing this, that, whatever. And I hope that just more of like people see that, and that I think goes a long way too. Instead of just trying to be the leader from a vocal sense, it's like, okay, no, I think actions speak, pretty loud.
Did you ever get settled off the ice? I mean, I know you got integrated with the team right away, but like, as far as living, finding a place,
Mhm.
navigating your way through the city, did that come, or is that like kind of be this off season more?
So right when I got here, I started looking at places to live. Frankly, it wasn't even for the sake of finding a place. I was in the hotel the whole end of the year, but it was something that I just was like, okay, the more places I see, the more I'll kind of understand what I like, what I don't like. Because living in a city is different than living in, say, a suburb where it's, okay, guys live in this one suburb. It's 10 minutes to the rink. All right, which house do you like? There's townhomes, there's condos, there's duplex downs, there's single-family homes, there's high-rise apartments. There's a train next to one apartment. I don't like that. That's weird. I don't know why they're above ground and like so loud all the time. So I don't like that. Like I don't want to live in a place that has super loud like that. Okay, this street's loud. This street's not. This street's a one-way. There's someone above me here. The floors are thin. Like there's so many little things that go into living in a city that seem actually you don't think of when you're just like in Florida when you're in a house and you're just like, I have my house and this is my spot. The only thing bothering me might be the lizards in Florida in my backyard. That's it. So, but I think the staff did a great job helping me out, just kind of get settled, and everyone's been giving me recommendations on where to live, and there's so many different cool areas, which I think is a cool thing. I'm actually, after this, I'm going to look at a few places actually. So, but getting settled, I think I'm settled, but still learning the area. I think by the time, that time like this year in Florida, I felt like it was home a bit. And then I knew kind of that process I had when I did, to make that feel like that in Florida. Like I would get there early, explore a bit, go see different areas, get to know things, and that's kind of what I'm gonna do here. So even if I don't feel like if I'll go see places I know I'm not even gonna rent or buy or whatever. I'll just go see them, and just to see, and just get the idea of the neighborhood, the areas, what's around it, and that to me is it's going to take I'm fully aware it's probably going to take at least a year to really get that feeling like I'd had in Florida. That just the main thing. But honestly, I think I'll come back I don't know when I'll come back, but I might try to get back a little early to just hang out here without hockey, because when you're playing hockey, it's so busy. You're not really like, oh, I'm going to go explore or check something out. But, anyway, if you have that time before the season or after the season, that's a great time to kind of get out and explore.
How encouraged are you?
That's 1%.
We've seen Sam Rinzel and Oliver
Mhm.
Moore and Frank Nazar and everything, some of these younger guys
Yeah.
come up, and just how encouraging is it to see kind of the youth movement coming up right now with this group?
Yeah, it's really cool to see just how many young players there are that are very talented and skilled. And kind of like what I was alluding to earlier, I think those guys will take very big steps by just going through the experience of what it's like playing in the NHL. Because it's the hardest league in the world, and it doesn't matter how talented you are. There are going to be nights where you're not going to feel good. There are really good players that are going to expose everyone in this league. That's just the way it is. But I think those guys have so much young talent and different characteristics, for each player. But the people they are too, I think they're going to take steps because they're so eager to develop into where they want to go. I think that's what you see a lot with like the young players that are in the NHL, is that they're eager to become the players that they want to be. How fast they get to that point, I don't know. It could take 3 years. It might take 8, 10. But at that, they're so young and they're so eager to get better and develop that I think it's just the upside on, all the players you mentioned plus many more is tremendous. So I think that's just going to be really cool to see. And is it going to be sunshine and rainbows? Like, no. When you're young in this league, it's not easy. There's a reason why, the best teams in the league all are a lot of players in their prime, significantly older. That's just the way it is, right? It's just, and no one's going to hide it. But you know what? Like, that's also where they're going to grow, is through those tough mistakes. And that happened this year too. When just from the time as I was here, everyone, and there's not one person in the room like that's going to say like it was perfect, right? But though, but seeing that and going through that, I truly do believe it makes you better.
Mhm.
And I think gives you a little, like, a respect for the league that you're like, man, you know what, this is like hard. And I think you see that, you get a taste of that, and then you realize, okay, and that drives that motivation to get better even more. So I think it's gonna be great, and I think those guys are gonna make huge steps next year.